It's the proud tradition of Georgia Southern. 6 national titles in 30 years. The Eagles aiming for number 7 with senior quarterback Jabo Shaw at the helm. While the new kids on the block from Old Dominion attack in a different way with freshman quarterback Taylor Heineke. Both teams have come out swinging in Statesboro. Welcome, everyone, to the NCAA Championship, Statesboro, Georgia. It is the second round presented by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Old Dominion, the Monarchs, in only their 3rd year, taking on the 3-seed Georgia Southern, the perennial power, live from Paulson Stadium. The winner of today's game advances to the quarterfinals to meet the winner of Maine and Appalachian State. The site yet to be determined. It is playoff football. Hi, everybody. I'm Doug Bell alongside John Bunting, the former North Carolina head coach, a man who's played in some big games, coached in big games, been in the Super Bowl, coach. But something about this setting, 20,000 fans here today in Statesboro, Georgia. This is good stuff.
They haven't had a playoff game here since 2002, December game. They are excited here to be in the playoffs. And I tell you what, this is going to be a great game. The fans are ready.
Talk about opposite ends of the spectrum for these programs. Of course, ODU's only been around now for 3 years, but they do it completely different. And the coaches are totally different in their personalities.
It's a great matchup. Do a lot of things differently, totally contrasting styles. Bobby Wilder's a passing guy. Over the other side, Jeff Monken, he's out of the triple option set. He is going to try to grind this thing out.
Coach Monken is definitely old school. You saw the numbers virtually the same. The quarterbacks for Georgia Southern, you have a senior, and for Old Dominion, a true freshman. Again, the contrast.
Absolutely. You know, Taylor Shaw, Jabo Shaw. Well, Jabo Shaw hasn't thrown 100 passes, but he's run for 10 touchdowns. He's been running this triple option since he was in high school, being coached by his dad. And over the other side, at Taylor Heineke, and this guy's got to manage his offense, make great decisions to win this football game.
It is going to be a lot of fun. Both successful, both do it in a different way. And for Old Dominion, they're going to have a player going both ways today. Number 7, Nick Myers. He will be the Iron Man. Something to watch here in Statesboro. Flight of Freedom, the bald eagle here at Georgia Southern. A spectacular occurrence each and every home game. And that just gets the goosebumps even more fired up as Georgia Southern takes on Old Dominion. It is a gorgeous day for football, about 63 degrees. The wind could be a factor. It is blowing significantly into the east end zone. And, Coach, you couldn't ask for any better setting, the weather, the wind. Good stuff.
I just got goosebumps down there on the field talking with the coaches and seeing the players warm up. And these teams, very different as we talked about in the open. You know, ODU is this their first year in competition playing in any kind of conference ball, and here they are in the playoffs. And on the other side, Georgia Southern, I mean, this is a legendary program that Coach Monken is going back to the Irk Russell days and Paul Johnson, who he coached for before Johnson took the job at Navy.
Georgia Southern with those throwback uniforms, nothing fancy, no stripes on the pants, numbers on the helmets. That's what Irk Russell started 30 years ago. And Georgia Southern won the opening coin toss and deferred to the second half. Coach Monken, by the way, has won 80% of the coin tosses so far this season. And here's the kick going into the end zone, and ODU will return it. Colby Goodwin finds a gap and gets up past the 30-yard line. So nice field position for this spread offense of Old Dominion.
And it's going to go fast. That's what Bobby Wilder said to us pregame, that they're going to try to wear Georgia Southern out if they can. They're going to be on that ball. When the ball snap plays over, they're going right back to the line of scrimmage.
Taylor Heineke, true freshman from Atlanta. He's a Georgia guy. Took over this team 6 weeks into the season when the starter Thomas DeMarco went out with a high ankle sprain, and he has been terrific. And they're going to reset that play clock and then get it going. Here's ODU on offense. And these guys will all catch passes. Harper, Evans, Myers goes both ways. Gill, and Pinkard. And on the offensive line, Jeremy Hensley is the stud. The center calls all the signals. David Bourne, 6'8", 340 at left guard. So here we go. 1st and 10 for the Monarchs. Old Dominion, Norfolk, Virginia. We talk about the passing game. They come out with the option on the outside. That's Angus Harper. Georgia Southern seen that a few times.
Yeah, starting with a little option of their own, little speed option.
And for Georgia Southern, Gebhart Riley, Brent Russell, the all-conference performer. Quentin Ganther and Justin Lewis, outstanding. And that 4-3 look, Scott Stanley, look for them in the defensive backfield. On 2nd down, that pass goes incomplete. Intended for Antonio Vaughn. Vaughn lost his shoe on that one and brings up 3rd down.
Yeah, Doug, they're trying to run a little tunnel screen, and Darius Eubanks saw it right away and really drove towards the throw, but it was a high throw, but Heineke did not want to get an interception.
Eubanks is the player down for Georgia Southern, a junior from Harlem, Georgia. And coaches, you and I watched tape. Eubanks really stood out, number 13, as did number 10, Josh Rowe. Outstanding linebackers, fast, well built.
Very, very well coached players as well. Their feet are on the ground. They cover passes well. They fill the run. Eubanks really stood out to me yesterday watching tape here at Georgia Southern.
Yeah, he is one of the guys. A lot of responsibility when they play this spread look. Eubanks, Rowe. As you look at the coach now for Old Dominion, that's Jeff Monkey of Georgia Southern. And he was on the staff of Paul Johnson, who now is at Georgia Tech. And Coach Johnson won a couple of national championships here for the Eagles. Coach Monkey came back from Georgia Tech last year, took over as head coach, took him to the 3rd round of the playoffs. And what a grounded guy he is, Coach.
I tell you what, just to be around him, he's pretty serious about getting this back to the way it used to be, how it started with Eric Russell, how it was when he was here with Paul Johnson. Very disciplined approach to what they do, taking the offense from what it was as a pro-style offense back to the triple option. And this is a good sign, seeing Eubanks up.
For Georgia Southern, again, located in Statesboro, Georgia. We're not too far from Savannah. And the enrollment grows just about 2,000 students each year over the last 5 years. They're close to 20,000 now in enrollment. Remember the Southern Conference, which is one of the top conferences in America in FCS football. And look at that NCAA record, 41-11. Nobody has won more. And they have 6 championships, and that is a great sign. Darius Eubanks comes to the sidelines. They will make sure he is okay before he re-enters the game. But don't underestimate the importance of number 13, an outstanding player at the linebacker position for Georgia Southern. It's now 3rd down and 7. Again, Taylor Heineke, true freshman from Atlanta, runs the show for Bobby Wilder. Crowd making some noise at Paulson Stadium. And that ball deflected.
Boy, did they challenge on that play. Played man-to-man coverage, coming down and deflecting the ball. Tight. It was 3-on-3 over there. That's good numbers for ODU.
That's Jarek McKinnon, backup quarterback, and he came in on that 3rd down play, replacing Eubanks, and now here's the fake punt, and that's caught for a 1st down. Thomas DeMarco, who was the starter at quarterback, now playing more as his injury is getting better, the high ankle sprain, and the coach told us we'd see the fake punt.
You've got to be alert all the time. Here they are in a punt formation, but they run a play, fake action, and complete the sideline pass downfield for the 1st down. They are not afraid to take chances.
1st and 10. Taylor Heineke back at quarterback. And there's the handoff to Angus Harper. Goes over the left side for a nice gain of about 4.5.
It was a big concern going into this game is to convert 3rd downs defensively for Georgia Southern. And here was a 4th down that they converted with the fake punt. Big play.
Talked to Coach Wilder this week, and he told us he was very open. Hey, look for fake punts from us. And then on the field before the game, coach told us they had 4 fake punt plays in. We saw one of them right there to keep the drive alive. Heinicke with all day.
Great coverage.
You're right.
Just a 4-man rush. Just terrific coverage by the defensive backfield and linebackers, Georgia Southern.
And Brent Russell, many consider him the best defensive lineman in the country. And he comes up with a sack thanks to that secondary. It's 3rd down and 13. Back to the ground game. Goodwin goes over the right side. And coming up to make another tackle is Jerick McKinnon.
You know, ODU has seen some good teams in the Colonial Athletic Association, but this Georgia Southern team really runs. They stretched that perimeter play, that sweep, all the way out to the sideline where 2 defenders were waiting.
Now look at this setup. Everybody lined up to the left of the long snapper. That's Rick Lovato, and then DeMarco again. Australian rules football. Yes, he decides to kick. That's an option. And it goes off the side of his foot, and that was not a good kick.
He's a pretty good athlete. He is their starting quarterback for the last 3 years, entering this season. And then after a high ankle sprain, he went out and has not been able to regain his job, but he is now back healthy. So they're going to ask him to do a lot of different things today, including punting football. We saw him punting left-footed in free game. We said, is he left-footed? I said, I remember him as a right-footed punter.
Good athlete, to say the very least. And again, that last play you saw is an option. He can punt or pass. Here's Jabo Shaw. His brother Connor Shaw is the starting quarterback at South Carolina for Steve Spurrier. And there's the play we will see many times today. Right up the gut, the old B-back. That's Dominique Swope, a freshman from Buford, Georgia. Here's the Georgia Southern offense. Again, interchangeable parts. Swope had that huge game against Alabama, ran for 153 yards. And then on the offensive line again, Willie Maxwell, outstanding at center. We'll point him out today. There he is. Look at him lean over that football, coach, and he's going to fire out low. 2nd down. And again, that's Swope taking it behind Maxwell, but defended well by the Monarchs. Up front, Ronnie Cameron, all-conference performer for Old Dominion. Linebacking core solid, Wilkins, Williams, and Dar. And in the secondary, a bit banged up. Lewis has a high ankle sprain. We'll give it a go, but we will see Nick Mayers today.
Defense 96, 5-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
Wally Wrighton from the Missouri Valley Conference, our referee. And boy, was he getting an earful from Coach before the game.
They were talking about some things. I wouldn't call that a discussion. But, you know, this defense that we just showed is usually a 4-man front, an even front. They are playing an odd man front here against Georgia Southern.
2nd and short, offsides penalty against ODU. Here they come. That's a big play for Robert Brown. Breaking free down to the 24-yard line. Huge game.
This is one of the things that cannot happen frequently to the ODU defense in order to stay in this game. This ends up being just a sweep outside. No containment.
A little misdirection. Robert Brown was the starter last year and had an outstanding year as they made it to the 3rd round of the playoffs. Got banged up this season, and Swope came in and has been outstanding. But you saw Brown now getting healthy again. Had a good time, to say the least, and there it is. The B-back or the fullback, Swope just right up the gut, Coach.
Yeah, they're going to take this ball in that A gap. That is the gap to either side of that center and try to pound with that B-back. The job between William Maxwell and the nose tackle, Chris Burnett, is going to be interesting to watch all day long.
Again, Georgia Southern, 302 rushing yards against the University of Alabama, their final regular season game 3 weeks ago. And nobody has done that against the Crimson Tide. Robert Brown again, putting his head down, getting down to the 7-yard line. Same play as before, just the opposite side.
Watch this play here. Watch the block on the perimeter. There's a guy, defender down right there, cut block. The A-backs and the wide receivers, in order to run the ball outside, they've got to sustain blocks.
Nick Mayers made that stop. You see number 7, again going both ways because of injury for ODU. That's Swope lining right up behind Jabo Shaw. He takes the football inside the 5-yard line. A powerful kid at 210 pounds. And again, the blocking by Willie Maxwell, number 51. Coach, you and I watched tape yesterday. I saw him play against Alabama, and he is just outstanding, number 51.
They blocked Alabama all day long on that particular play right there. And Alabama switched back and forth between the odd front covering the center or the even front covering the guards.
You see Chris Burnett lines up right on top of Maxwell, which does not bother him in the least. And they go behind him again with Dominique Swope. Gets down inside the 2-yard line. Bring up 3rd and goal. Swope carried it 18 times for 153 yards against the Crimson Tide. And again, Alabama is number 1 in rushing defense in FBS football.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised if this is 4-down territory right here on the opening drive.
3rd and goal. The ball inside the 2-yard line. Dominic Swope lines up behind Jabo Shaw. And Shaw keeps it himself. It's a touchdown, Georgia Southern.
That young man has been doing this for a long time, Jabo Shaw. Just a quarterback sneak. He picks out which side he's going to go based on what the count. He follows his center and left guard right into the end zone. And here's something you always got to cover every single day in practice when you practice extra points and field goals. The old muddle huddle. You better line up right or they'll run a 2-point conversion on you.
Well, Adrian Moore, the kicker for Georgia Southern, has never missed an extra point in his career. He's a senior. And now 147 for 147. It doesn't get any better than that. Jabo Shaw, his 11th rushing touchdown of the season. Big crowd on hand, and they're loving it. That was an impressive drive for the Jabo Shaw. Started his career at Georgia Tech for Paul Johnson, the old Georgia Southern coach. Transferred when Jeff Monken took the job, and what a terrific job he has done running this offense. The triple option attack is back, Coach Bunting, and that was impressive, that drive.
It really was. They did what they do best, run the football, a couple different formations, and I'll expect some more and some tricks out of Georgia Southern at some point. But right now, it's very important for ODU to answer here. I mean, they pulled a trick or 2 out of their sleeve on the opening drive, weren't able to convert. I was really impressed with Georgia Southern's defense and the man-to-man coverage that they were playing.
Billy Greer will kick off. Mora is the field goal and extra point man. Greer kicking with the wind at his back. He's a senior as well. In fact, all the special teams guys are seniors for Georgia Southern. And that goes through the hands of Antonio Vaughn and into the end zone for a touchback. So Old Dominion will start their second drive from the 20. And Coach Bunting, let's talk keys for Coach Wilder and ODU.
Well, ODU really needs to protect the ball and the quarterback. And when they get down in that red zone, they got to score touchdowns. They got to score touchdowns rather than kick field goals. Defensively, we already saw what they must not do. They got to get the ball back on defense, either through a punt, downs, turnovers, or limit them to a field goal. That's how they win the football game. Limit it to field goals or get them on downs.
The true freshman, Taylor Heineke, getting his guys set. Center calling out the signals. Wide open first down. Big play for ODU. On the receiving end was Prentice Gill.
Prentice Gill is their senior receiver. We got a deep dig route coming in behind a receiver breaking out the sideline. In zone defense, the linebacker clamped down.
Heinicke quickly to the other side. And it goes to Antonio Vaughn. That picks up 9 yards. So just like that, they're close to the 50-yard line.
Folks, these ODU folks are going to be in 4 wide receivers most of this game. They're either going to be lined up 2 on one side, 2 on the other, or 3-by-1s where they have different combination routes to run based on that formation.
Second down, about 1.5 yards. Here's the double reverse. It's going to be a first down. Little miscommunique on the handoff there, but it still worked for Antonio Vaughn.
A little trick there. Double reverse, you could call it. So just a really simple one reverse there with Antonio Vaughn. He is a talented wide receiver for ODU. He's caught a lot of balls.
Again, Heinicke is extremely accurate, more than 70% completion percentage. And there's another one. In fact, that's 3 in a row on this drive. That's Nick Mayers, who's going both ways. We saw him make a tackle earlier, and now there's his first grab of the day.
On the ball, here they go. They're going to try to wear this front 4 out.
2nd and 5. That 43 look for Georgia Southern. 4 down linemen. You got your 3 linebackers. Good to see Darius Eubanks back in the game. Heinicke keeps it himself.
Doug, that's what he does so well. He sees the coverage take place and has no place to go with the ball, and he doesn't hesitate to take the ball down and go get a first down or get positive yards. He has a great clock in his head. He takes very few sacks, along with only throwing 1 interception in 7 games started.
Now those numbers are just off the charts. 20 touchdown passes, 1 pick. Unheard of. The middle of the field is wide open for Antonio Vaughn. Now he breaks it to the outside. A nice move down to the 2-yard line. Lavelle Westbrooks kept him from scoring a touchdown.
You talking about a runner that has eyes in the back of his head and the side of his head. He had great feel there, great eyes, great vision. And you saw the quarterback, Taylor Heinicke, accidentally throw a block on that play.
Now to the outside. Is he going to get into the end zone? Yes, he does. Touchdown, Angus Harper. His 10th rushing touchdown of the season, and just like that, the Monarchs answer in a big way.
This is just the outside zone play, all blocked up well up front. Great block on the perimeter out there by Gill, I believe. Holding that block, sustaining that block for a long time to allow Harper to score.
Jared Brown on for the extra point. And we're all tied up in Statesboro. The Monarchs showing pass and the ability to run against these Eagles. They march 80 yards.
Oh, wow.
Freedom. Not happy with that last drive from ODU. We're all tied up here in Statesboro, Georgia. Doug Bell alongside John Bunting. The winner advances to the quarterfinals. What a beautiful, beautiful bald eagle. Keys for Georgia Southern, coach. You talked to Jeff. What did he have to say?
Well, once again, this is for them to win this ball game. They got to keep the ball, limit the ODU possessions. That's what great triple option teams do. Limit the possessions of the opposition. And on defense, they're going to be getting the ball thrown on them all day. It doesn't matter. They're going to catch something. They got to tackle that catch. And most importantly, when it's 3rd and 5 plus, they got to convert those 3rd downs and get off the field and give the ball back to the offense. It's going to take a lot of patience on both sides of these sidelines with these coaches today, because both teams can score.
This is a short kick, just a pooch kick, fielded at the 30 and brought up around the 33, possibly the 34-yard line. And the last drive was run, and run. Some misdirection that worked well, Coach.
Out in the open field, great speed by Georgia Southern. Some great perimeter blocks, and then the quarterback sneak. Picking out his hole, picking out which side of the center he's going to go and taking it in.
Jabo Shaw back at quarterback, his first pass of the day, complete to the outside is Zach Walker. And he had a lot of space out there on the left side, Coach.
Yeah, speaking of that, I mean, there's going to be times where they can throw the football, and that corner backs off and gives them all that space. Jabo Shaw, he has the opportunity to do what he wants to do, throw that ball out there. He's got some run-pass options at the line of scrimmage.
You saw Eric Lewis, number 26 for ODU, battling a high ankle sprain, and he is giving the wide receiver a lot of cushion there on the left side. Lower portion of your screen. Now the pitch back to Robert Brown, who is really showing a burst today.
He was the starter all last year as a true freshman. Ran for over 1,000 yards, and he's started to start this year. He gets a little banged up, and Swopes come in, and now they got a great 1-2 punch.
There's a good look at Robert from Macon, Georgia. Good-looking athlete.
And he's averaging 6.4 yards per carry, with Swope averaging 6.5. Who wouldn't like that?
Second down and short.
Ball's in the ground.
And the ball is loose. ODU says they have it, and they do. Monarchs jump on the loose football. Dominic Swope coughed it up. And look at Bobby Wilder. He talked about that was the key. They put it on the ground. We got to take advantage.
This is something Coach Wilder talked about early in the week. 31 fumbles, but most of them were recovered by Georgia Southern. And that's one of the keys to victory today for ODU, is to come up with some turnovers.
Paul Morant on the recovery for Old Dominion. And the Monarchs back on offense. Again, Taylor Heineke changing that play. This is the green tempo. They have two tempos, green and yellow. And green is just warp speed.
Go, go.
And that was in and out of the hands of Larry Pinkard. For Old Dominion, again, a program that was dormant for 69 years, and they hire Bobby Wilder to come in from the University of Maine, where he played there, was their offensive coordinator for many years. He resurrects the program 3 years ago, and here they are in the second round of the playoffs against the perennial powerhouse Georgia Southern. Terrific story. Heineke looking deep, airing it out. And that ball gets batted away by LaRon Scott. There's the season recap. 10-2 after the win last week in the opening round of the playoffs. 6-2 in the Colonial Athletic Association. Ronnie Cameron, the defensive player in the year in the league. They're on a 5-game winning streak, and last week, what a scene there as they took on Norfolk State. The two schools separated by 4 miles. Didn't have enough seats for all the folks that wanted to go see it. Third down, they tried the draw play with Angus Harper, and he goes nowhere.
Coach Wilder told us before that they could have sold 50,000 tickets to that game.
Big number 96, Blake Riley and Brent Russell. And now there's that unusual punt formation.
Looking to the sideline. They got a plan. Everybody's looking over there, looking back to DeMarco, the backup quarterback today.
Let it fly. Again, against the wind. And the ball takes a Georgia Southern bounce. And so the Eagles, after the defensive stop, following the fumble, will take over at the 34. We're all tied up on a gorgeous Saturday in Statesboro, Georgia. The winner advances to the quarterfinals. That's Big Blue, the mascot of Old Dominion. And they have captured the imagination of that part of Virginia and Norfolk. That is a terrific state for football, coach. As you know, used to recruit in there.
That Tidewater area is very special.
Jabo Shaw, and there's another one on the ground. Georgia Southern pounced on it, I do believe, and yes, that's 2 fumbles now. One goes to Old Dominion, and that one they got back. Dominic Swope jumped on it.
Force this ball to the perimeter, and this is where some accidents might happen. And that is all those quarterbacks and running backs, A-backs work on all week long, is the coordination between quarterback and the pitch. You've got to be very much in phase to make it happen.
33 fumbles on the season for Georgia Southern. They have lost 13. That's what Bobby Wilder was mentioning this week in his press conference. They do put it on the ground. That time, well-executed pitch to Dominique Swope.
You're going to see out here after the pitch another great block right there on the perimeter by the wide receiver. That's what these wide receivers do in this offense. They catch the ball every once in a while, but mostly they're out there to block.
Yeah, Mitchell Williford delivered the block. And if you watched the tape or saw that game against Alabama, wide receivers did an outstanding job. Again, right up the gut is Dominique Swope. That's just hard-nosed football. Terrific blocking up front.
Yeah, try to. Yeah.
There's the splits, coach. Look at those splits there.
Watch this trap play right here. That's an influence trap. The near guard pulled out to influence the linebacker out, and the off guard pulled around to trap.
Again, you saw Willie Maxwell, the center, doing his job. Again, behind Maxwell is Darian Robinson, young man from Bishop, Georgia. Again, they have so many receivers and running backs that are interchangeable parts. Jeff Monken has run this offense for so many years. Learned the nuances of the offense, not only from his father, who was a terrific high school coach, but Paul Johnson, his mentor. And, Coach, if you took his offense and compared it to Georgia Tech, almost identical.
Except they have more formations and do a few more different wrinkles.
Including this one from the pistol formation. And there's the 3rd fumble of the game. Now they count that as an incomplete pass.
That is questionable there. That's a pitch backwards, in my opinion. But look who was there. Ronnie Cameron to force the early throw. He wanted to go down the line of scrimmage further before he pitched it, but Cameron was there in his face. They're playing this odd front, but they are stunting the defensive ends, which Ronnie Cameron is normally a defensive tackle. He's playing an end position today, which is very odd for a guy of his background.
3rd down and 8. Shaw, his 2nd pass of the game, and has a man wide open. Touchdown, Georgia Southern. No, they say he was out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Showers on the receiving end. There is no replay in this round of the FCS playoffs. Well, let's check it out ourselves. Oh, that was a touchdown.
It's a touchdown.
That was a missed call by the line judge.
But Coach Monken taking a page out of Paul Johnson's book this year. They're throwing the ball deep. This is where the cornerbacks are out there on those wide receivers that mostly are blocking them. You've got to watch yourself. You've got to really stare down your key. So if that guy does not block you, you better cover him.
Now, if we're in FBS football or next week in the playoffs, this timeout would allow the replay booth to do their thing. That is not the case on this level. Most of these games during the regular season are not televised. Oh, baby, I'm not sure how he missed that one. He is right there. And he was clearly in the end zone.
Feet in bounds, knocked down the pylon. That indicates touchdown. Great catch right in the hands by Showers.
And again, for those who really want a playoff on the FBS level, you have to love this with the playoffs. Here's the other half of the bracket. Stony Brook, Sam Houston State, New Hampshire, Montana State, Wofford, who's in the Southern Conference along with Georgia Southern, against UNI, Central Arkansas, and Montana. Again, the winners advance. All the games next week in the quarterfinals will be on the ESPN family of networks. Times and locations to be determined. Vaulting in the end zone, Dominique Swope. Boy, Swope is so good at that B-back position, Coach. It was like a trampoline. He just vaulted into the end zone.
The one thing you can't do is afford too many big plays. On the first touchdown, there was a long run of over 25 yards. And on this drive, they have a long pass. Got to limit the big plays in order to hang in there with Georgia Southern.
Adrian Mora. Very unusual. The long snapper, Carter Jones, the holder, Charlie Edwards, and Mora, the kicker, are all seniors, have all been working together for 4 years. Very adept at what they do.
They all are very good friends, very close friends, these specialists. Talking with Carter Jones before the game. He's the superstitious one of all night. I asked him, I said, hey, what are you superstitious about? He goes, everything. Everything. I do everything the same. He's a free-spirited guy. He told me he loves the Allman Brothers from Macon, Georgia. So do I.
Yeah, and there's Swope. 7 plays, 66 yards. You know, it's funny, Carter Jones loves those Allman Brothers, and you, back when you were in your Philadelphia Eagles heyday, had a chance to introduce the Allman Brothers, right?
We won the NFC Championship game in January of 1981, and the following day at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, I introduced the Allman Brothers in front of 17,000 people. And wasn't as nervous I was for this game, though, I'll tell you that.
They're from the state of Georgia, and obviously held in high regard around here.
Big song, Statesboro Blues.
Yeah, good stuff. And now, the Georgia Southern sideline, a little pep in their step. Had 2 fumbles on that drive, and one that was called an incomplete pass. And then overcame the bad call that was a touchdown, said the receiver Showers was out of bounds, but nevertheless it results in a touchdown. So it's 14-7. And there's Carter Jones. Terrific young guy. He's a senior. And those long snappers are just so valuable. You never hear about them unless something bad happens.
That's exactly right. Majoring in communication studies. Hey, 2 trips to the red zone for Georgia Southern and 2 touchdowns.
Billy Greer, the wind at his back. Antonio Vaughn working his way up around the 23 and then gets held up and takes a nice shot. Again, Old Dominion in Norfolk, Virginia, which is a wonderful city. Big military base there. 24,000 in enrollment in that Colonial Conference. 5 schools from the Colonial in the playoffs. 3 from the Southern Conference, the SoCon. You see the logo on the field.
Three by one formation here. It's empty.
Heineke.
That's
DeMarco, and their quarterback. He takes it for a first down, and Heineke was out there at wide receiver in the slot.
Exactly. Coach told us that he would put them on the field at the same time. This is an empty backfield. Now DeMarco's down. Watch the run here. Fake the handoff. Runs the boot. Keeps it, the keeper. But he has had a severe right ankle sprain. And I don't know if this is the injury at this point right now.
Yeah, his ankle is heavily taped, and he also wears a brace on that right ankle. Not sure if that's the problem or he just perhaps lost his breath. Appears to be okay.
He's a tough customer. He's a senior from California, Palm Desert, College of the Desert. They've got a lot of JUCO players in this program to begin 3 years ago, and now they're evening it out with freshmen.
First and 10 after the run of 12 yards. And again to the ground. Big hole on the left side. Colby Goodwin works his way up close to a first down, and he gets it. That's a 10-yard gain.
Now, don't get us wrong. The ODU can run the football as well. And they can block, too. These receivers are tough. Look at this blocker here. Reed Evans, redshirt junior, sustained that block to get that first down.
29 seconds to play in the first quarter. Already 7 first downs for the Monarchs.
This is where they need to move and score.
That running play on the left side, good one again. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe. And that should be the final play of this first quarter. That has been full of offense. That's Roderick Tinsley, a senior who has had a fine career at Georgia Southern, getting in there for the stop. And that is the end of the first quarter in Statesboro, Georgia. Monarchs are holding their own, although Georgia Southern, they are running it right down the gut. Freedom reigns in Statesboro, Georgia. Second quarter in Statesboro, Georgia, home of Georgia Southern. The Eagles lead 14-7, but Old Dominion is now driving again. Doug Bell along with John Bunting. We expected a lot of offense, Coach.
And we're getting it. And just the way they do it best. The triple option, very effective. And, of course, ODU can throw the ball, but now they're running the football effectively.
Yeah, they are a good offensive unit, and they do it a different way from Georgia Southern. Here's Heineke, the true freshman, showing off those quick feet and great instincts. Heineke, true freshman, Coach.
He's amazing. For a young guy, the great decisions that he makes, and he does not throw interceptions, and he can run the football. When he feels things breaking down or he sees receivers that are covered, takes off, gets first down.
Coach, you need to get more excited. You're not having fun, are you?
I love it. Absolutely love game day.
And you used to coach Division III, and you said that might have been the best time you ever had.
That's
coaching.
The most fun I ever had coaching was coaching D3 at Glassboro State, now Rowan University.
Heineke over the middle. That's another big play. That's inside the 10 and out of bounds around the 7. I tell you, Colby Goodwin is an offensive weapon coming out of the backfield. And he just swung right over the middle.
We watched some tape yesterday. We saw some of these man-to-man coverages that Georgia Southern would try to employ against the wide receivers, and they would get some individual routes run on the middle linebacker, and that's what happened right there. Colby Goodwin beating the middle linebacker, Josh Rowe.
First and 10. And again over the left side. And that's Goodwin again. Sophomore from Hampton, Virginia, and that is a hotbed for high school football. If you look at the rosters from Virginia and Virginia Tech, ODU, so many players coming out of that Hampton area.
The 757 area code.
I got the biggest kick when you told me that the other day, Coach. I mentioned that and you just said 757.
That Tidewater area, a bunch of really talented athletes.
And Heineke quickly looks to the right. In and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Reed Evans.
Another good throw.
LaRon Scott on the coverage for the Eagles.
He breaks out here, stays in the pattern. Heineke puts it on his hands. He's got to catch that ball. Here's a big, big play for Georgia Southern on 3rd and 3.
3rd and goal to go. 14-7 Georgia Southern. Monarchs try to tie it up. Here comes the blitz. Heineke has all day. Has his man. Touchdown, Old Dominion. Credit the quarterback who scanned the field and he found Reed Evans. Did a nice job picking up that blitz, Coach.
There's really two things here. The great block by Goodwin to pick up the blitzing corner, but then the safety that came over the top, Heineke is able to escape, buy some time, and Evans finds a way to get open and get the touch.
And the extra point is good. And again, we are all tied up in Statesboro. Look at Bobby Wilder. Look at that smile. When you talk to the coach, he just has a perpetual smile on his face. Again, Heinicke finds Evans. We're tied. We're all tied up in Statesboro 14-14. Remember, the 2011 NCAA Division I Football Championship continues next weekend with the quarterfinals, December the 10th. All 4 games will be shown on the ESPN networks. And for more information, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 89 NCAA championships. That's the grassy burn in the scoreboard end zone here at Paulson Stadium. And after this football season, they will break ground on a new football complex in the end zone. They're so excited about that. LaRon Scott, Georgia Southern, dangerous return man, gets it up to the 27, averaging 33 yards a return. Return one for a touchdown against Alabama.
Yeah, a 95-yarder and a great cornerback. He's getting a lot of look from the NFL. And Bobby Wilder told us we're not going to kick it to that guy, but he's trying to directional kick it into the corner away from him and force him to bring it back across the field where more players have a chance to put him on the ground.
So Jay Beauchamp in the Eagles triple option. Back in the attack, Dominique Swope, the B-back right behind him, and there's the pitch. Robert Brown. Boy, is he fast or what? What a burst and power. Down to the 44, the big crowd on their feet. At Paulson Stadium. I tell you, Brown looks healthy to me, Coach.
It's one of the base plays in this offense. It's not only to run the B-back, but to run the toss sweep. You had the wide receiver, you had the A-back in motion to lead the charge on the perimeter for Brown. And now we're back to Swope. Pretty good 1-2 combination with those guys.
And Swope is so quick. He lines up right on the tail of Jay Beauchamp and lines up in a three-point stance, almost like a defensive lineman with that right hand in position. And man, he is quick taking that handoff.
So he can hit those quick hitting in the A gaps. They call that the midline. What you want to force them to do is force the ball outside into the B gaps so a linebacker can scrape and make a tackle. But once again, we got that matchup up front between Maxwell, the center, and Chris Burnett, the nose tackle, number 90.
Second down and 6. Shaw keeps it himself. First down, Georgia Southern. And Jay Beauchamp, now his dad, very successful high school coach in Flowery Branch, Georgia. And he's been running this offense, they told us the other day, probably since he was 6 or 7 years old when he first started playing. And that's what his dad taught him to play. And that's all he's done his whole career.
That's what coaches do. And he is good at it. Once again, he's not thrown for 100 passes coming into this game, but he manages this offense extremely well.
145 rushing yards for Georgia Southern. This will be his third pass. He's 2 for 2 and make it 3 for 3. That's Jonathan Bryan on the receiving end.
Now, he plays some at Georgia Tech, true freshman now. They had some high hopes for him, but he wanted to be the starter and he wanted to get an opportunity to play this offense. And he came over here with Coach Monken when Coach Monken took over last year.
In fact, Jay Beauchamp, as a true freshman at Georgia Tech, had to play against Duke, and he threw for the Georgia Tech freshman record, over 230 yards through the air. He's capable.
He is capable.
And again, Swope, that time defended well. See big number 97, Edmund McClam, South Carolina senior.
Lewisburg Junior College transfer. And he is big, 6'6", 280 pounds. He's blocked some kicks for ODU, but they're going to be doing a lot of scheming on that perimeter with those defensive ends and outside linebackers to try to change the look for Georgia Southern in their blocking schemes.
Third down and 3.
Very tight formation here.
And the pitch back. It's another first down as Darian Robinson still going. That's just hard-nosed running down the hill. And finally they wrestle him to the ground. Look, he's fired up.
You got this tight formation and see the outside wide receiver, Williford, make the crackback block, and then the tackle and guard pull around on the sweep to make a big first down. And once again, knocking on the door in the red zone. They're 2 for 2, touchdown so far.
Again, this offense wears you down. By the late third, fourth quarter, the defense is usually gassed. Flag down, first flag we've had today on the carry by Swope.
That will probably mean hold or possibly a chop block.
Umpire threw that flag in. Again, Wally Wrighton from the Missouri Valley Conference.
Personal foul, chop block, 76 offense. 15-yard penalty, repeat first down.
You can't be engaged right here and then go at his knees right there. Can't engage high and then chop backside.
Yeah, the defender turned his back on McBurnett, Trevor McBurnett, a freshman.
He just needs to stay up and just drive the blocker. It would have resulted in the same thing. But it's a good call by the umpire.
And another penalty flag. That could be a procedure penalty.
And Doug, I'm going to tell you, that was part of the discussion out there between Bobby Wilder.
5-yard penalty, first down.
Bobby Wilder and the umpire and the referee. You always talk about chop block. We want to get that in their mind, plant those seeds.
Again, Trevor McBurnett making a couple of mistakes, freshman.
True freshman. Oh, he's a redshirt freshman, excuse me.
285-pounder at right guard. Their offensive linemen are not big guys. They do not have any 300-pounders. And the way they play, it would be difficult for a man that large to get down that low. And a timeout by Jabo Shaw. Will come to the sidelines, talk to Jeff Monken. Monken, by the way, 44 years old. And he will talk it over. Very calm, cool, and collected. Never panics, much like his mentor Paul Johnson. Bobby Wilder, an infectious personality, was an outstanding quarterback at the University of Maine, set all sorts of passing records, and then got beat out his senior year. And they came here to play the playoffs.
That's a great story.
Mike Buck beat him out. Jabo Shaw is now 4 for 4. Another completed pass, this time to Jonathan Bryant again.
That's a great call and execution on 1st and 29 on the 29-yard line. Got ODU sucked up on the receiver that was short and then hit the corner route behind it. Good definition between the routes for the quarterback to see visually and make the throw.
Shaw does have one incomplete pass. He's actually 4 for 5. Back to the ground game. Robinson dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Georgia Southern. Darian Robinson.
Well, 1st and 29. And watch this right here on the counter play. There's a block out here on the perimeter by Williford, number 81. He hangs on that block, sustains it for so long, and doesn't get called. That's great technique, moving your feet.
Flag down. Old Dominion had too many men on the field. Illegal participation will be the call, I do believe.
Illegal substitution. Player on the defense went across the end line.
I watched the block out here on the perimeter. Just cat and mouse, staying with it. Allows Swope to get into the end zone.
That's the first touchdown of the season for Darian Robinson. First rushing touchdown. And again, Williford, you saw number 81. He has long hair sticking out of his helmet. Now Robinson, but Williford. And he is an excellent blocker.
They're using him up. They're using him up on the perimeter blocking. Great job.
So the ball a little closer. Should not affect Mora. I mean, he's perfect. 149 for 149. That is an FCS record. And here comes Robinson, getting a little help from his friends on the outside. And that's Mitchell Williford who delivered that block that released Robinson into the end zone. And Georgia Southern back on top, 21-14, 8 plays, 72 yards. Hey, help us beat cancer. The V Foundation awards 100% of direct donations and net proceeds of events to fund cancer research. That's one of the great things about the Jimmy V Foundation. Log on to www.jimmyv.org, or you can call 1-800-4JIMMY-V to donate. Listen to Coach Valvano's speech at the ESPYs again this week as we kicked off Jimmy V Week, and it never gets old. It is really one of the outstanding, inspirational speeches you'll ever hear.
Duck now 3 for 3 in the red zone. That time starting inside the 10-yard line, but then again pushed back to the 29 with penalties.
Antonio Vaughn for Old Dominion. Gets it out to the 32-yard line and then pushed backwards.
That's a lot of hats to the football right there.
It really is.
Wow. I don't think there was one guy not in on that tackle on that kickoff return.
17 yards on the return. The kickoff was into the wind, so a little shorter than what you saw in the first quarter. Nice balance, 96 yards through the air, 72 on the ground.
Part of that is Taylor Heinicke running the football himself.
Heinicke with all day.
There he goes.
And used the umpire as a screener. Again, look at those big hosses up front. David Bourne, the left guard, 6'8", 340 pounds, and his counterpart at left tackle, Ryan Jensen, 6'5", 300. Got 640 pounds of beef there on the left side, Coach.
I'm glad I didn't see those types of guys when I played in the NFL.
Big, gaping hole over the right side for Angus Harper. Into Georgia Southern territory, another big gain. Harper is a freshman.
This is just an inside zone cut back with the slanting nose tackle. Gaping hole as they cut off the defensive tackle from the other side.
Old Dominion linemen in that two-point stance. Those big 300-pounders love it when they don't have to put their hand down on the ground. Heinicke going deep, has his man, it's caught, and it's a touchdown. What a grab by Prentice Gill, and what a throw by Heinicke.
Watch Prentice Gill push off with his left hand to slow down the defender, Hudson Presume. Hey, if you can get away with it, that's a touchdown. But he warded him off with his left hand and then was able to get his hands up and catch it. Right back, ODU with the score.
45 yards. Heinicke delivers the strike to Prentice Gill. Gill, a senior from Los Angeles, California.
It's going to be great protection. Lofts the ball up there. Wards off with his left hand.
Ooh,
touchdown.
That was close. His right foot looked like it might have stepped in that line.
I'm not used to seeing ODU throw this ball deep as much, and I think this has a lot to do with the fact that Georgia Southern is going to play a lot of man coverage today, and they're going to ask those corners out in the perimeter especially to man up.
So Georgia Southern, this program started 30 years ago by the legendary Irk Russell. who was the longtime defensive coordinator for Vince Dooley at Georgia for those outstanding teams that had Herschel Walker and won a national championship. He was contacted by the folks from Georgia Southern who wanted to have a football program. And when he took it over, Coach, they didn't have a practice field. They did not have a stadium. They didn't have anything.
They went across the street to the Kmart to buy a ball so they could take a picture.
Look at that resume. He retired after they won the national title. He was 15-0 back in '89. Before the game, all the players touch the bald dome of the bald eagle Erk Russell, which is a tremendous tradition here at Georgia Southern. He is the father of football here. And if you ever had a chance to meet Coach Russell, what a unique personality he was. So much fun to talk to, so many stories. And they're trying to get him inducted into the Georgia State Hall of Fame. Another return by LaRon Scott. Breezes up to the 30-yard line. An effortless return by Scott. Some scores now in the other game. Sam Houston State leads Stony Brook in the first quarter 7-0. And if you break down tape on Sam Houston State now, they can put up some points.
The number 1 seed.
They throw it all over the lot. Again, there's LaRon Scott. Started the season with a 99-yard kickoff return against Samford, and then a 95-yard return against Alabama. And look at the total yards.
Even, again, these teams are so evenly matched in statistics in a lot of different ways, except the way they move the ball. Oh, and there's a flag for procedure.
Yeah, that was movement by the wingback, J.J. Wilcox. Got going just a little too quickly.
Ball start, 19 offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Again, Jeff Monken. Boy, when you talk to Coach about Erk Russell, he talks with such reverence and loves the tradition here and the history. 30 years ago, and they said Coach Russell even had the backhoe knocking these pine trees down for the practice field.
The pride in this program is extremely significant.
There's the Howard's Rock at Clemson that they touch in the end zone, and you have the bust of Coach Russell as he watches each and every home game here. Swope again, Dominique Swope, the B-back, if you will, the fullback. That triple option attack. Again, the Alabama football coaches, Nick Saban and his defensive coordinator, Kirby Smart. That game was scheduled before they took over at Alabama. And they made the comment, if we could have changed it, we would have, because we did not want to go against this triple option attack a week before we were going to play Auburn.
And when the game was over, thank God that's over.
They shook hands, had a lot of respect for Georgia Southern, but man alive, they didn't want to see that attack again. It's rare.
Here's this tight formation again. Everybody's packed in.
Again, up the middle.
The midline, right up the middle, exploding, and then cutting back. You've got to shut that play down. You cannot allow that to beat you. You've got to force the ball outside.
Swope now, 11 carries, 65 yards. He's starting to put up some impressive numbers. We're tied at 21, and another SoCon CAA matchup. Maine leads App State. That's Coach Wilder's alma mater. And App State managed to knock off Georgia Southern earlier this season. Again, Swope. Again, when you talk about the Colonial Athletic Association and the Southern Conference, they are the two powerhouse leagues in FCS football. In fact, they both claim they're the best, Coach. Whether you're in the Southern Conference or Colonial, hey, we're the best. No, we're the best. That's the great debate. Big Sky with Montana and that crew, not bad.
At Southland, I did Central Arkansas last week for ESPN. I had a ball out there watching those guys play, and of course that's where
second down, Shaw again the flip. It's going to go to Nico Hickey, his first carry today, and that'll be another first down for Georgia Southern. Again, the clock just marches on. Now 5:23 to play in this second quarter. You look at the Monarchs defense. John Darr, number 46, has been there all the way. Craig Wilkins wears number 12, and he's a first-team All-Colonial Athletic Association linebacker.
He's a good player, leading tackler, got 3.5 sacks. Darr is a substitute for Alex Arain. He got hurt about 3 weeks ago.
Again, nothing fancy there. Darian Robinson, who scored that last touchdown, gives it that veer look. It's just straightforward, Coach.
This is what they can do. They also, when they have the big chunks of yards, the big explosive plays, they score in a hurry. I mean, they can do it both ways. Right now, they can do what? They can eat clock. We're down to 4:35 here, and they could possibly run this clock out and score. This is the way this game may go down to the final drive.
2nd down and 7. Jabo Shaw, the pistol formation. Breaking it free, 1st down and more. That's Robinson again. Again, we're seeing the same plays, Coach, just different formations.
Watch Shaw here. He gets the direct snap in shotgun. Fakes the inside handoff. Now he has the option back, and there's another great block out there on the perimeter. To spring the A back, Darian Robinson. Very nicely done. Great timing that it takes to run those types of plays.
Again, just eating up yards on the ground, Georgia Southern. That's Swope over the left side. We saw that pistol formation. Wofford University, who is in the same league, the Southern Conference, Coach Munkin told us their staff's been together forever, and they run a similar style, and they saw that pistol formation, and they said, you know, we kind of like that. And so they implemented that into their offensive scheme this season. And again, he said it's the same stuff. It's just a different look.
It's been around for a long time. You can throw, but it's that split back veer option. Gives you another way to run their offense.
And a big split there, the A gap on the right side. Well, that time defended very well. Big number 96, Ronnie Cameron, Defensive Player of the Year in the Colonial. He's quick, he's big, and he read that one.
Here's Cameron. He came from the outside.
And nobody blocked him.
He's playing that left defensive end, shooting inside on a stunt. They're going to take some chances. They have to try to get some negative plays, get Georgia Southern off schedule.
3rd down and 12. Shaw gets hit just as he releases it, but wide open in the end zone. It's Kentrell Showers. He had that big grab in the first quarter when he was out of bounds at the 2-yard line. That's a 24-yard touchdown strike. And you can't be more wide open than that, Coach Bunny. What happened?
There is a bust in the coverage right here. Now there's somebody has dropped coverage. Wide open as Showers. Now they're going to try to flirt with some zone coverages, but mostly they're playing man-to-man out there on the wideouts.
And the extra point is again good. Adrian Mora. If you just joined us, he's never missed an extra point in his career. Now 150 in a row. Jabo Shaw having a heck of a day. Now 5 for 6, 91 yards, and a touchdown. Jabo Shaw doesn't panic, does he, Coach?
When you incorporate a lot of different motions, the defenders in charge of that coverage sometimes will get mixed up as they cross the formation and drop a coverage. And that's what happens on that particular play.
Showers all smiles. Big crowd on hand here at Paulson Stadium. Stadium will take on a new dimension next season as they break ground on a brand new football facility. The coaches' offices and where the players hang out is a couple of miles from here on the other side of campus. And so they want to bring it over here to the stadium. There's the far end with the scoreboards. As soon as the season's over, they'll start building a huge football facility, and they have a donor, an anonymous donor who gave them $1 million to get it started. That's a nice donor, huh?
It's going to be great for this football program. Shows, once again, the commitment that they've made, and to coach both the players and Coach Monken coming over here from Georgia Tech. Young coach, first time as a head coach, but he's been tutored by a terrific one in Paul Johnson. Bringing that offense over here, the discipline of that program over here. A lot of great things are going to happen here at Georgia Southern.
Billy Greer.
But not on that play.
Yeah, he hooked that one, and somehow it stayed in bounds.
That's incredible. I thought for sure that ball was going out of bounds, and that ball would be marked at the 40.
Well, it had a lot of spin on it, I guess, because as soon as it landed on the turf, it just started spinning and it stayed in, almost like a spinning top.
It was like one of those pro shots, on the golf and the PGA, a little pro suck. Keep it back in here.
60-degree sandwich, huh? Started coming backwards. Look at that rushing yardage for Georgia Southern. Passing yardage. Total yards, pretty close.
They've hit some big plays for the passes, though. They really, J-Bo Shaw's done a terrific job throwing the ball.
Heineke to Prentice Gill. Complete on the outside, and again, Heineke now 7 for 12. And I'm impressed. Now, Heineke is a terrific player. 21 touchdowns, only 1 interception now in the year. But that offensive line coach gave them all day. They really block well.
They'll change protections. Oh, there's one.
Just when you say it.
That one. They missed him that time.
Brent Russell came in there unabated, number 66.
He is, just think about this. The defensive player of the year. What do we got going here? Roughing the quarterback?
I think that's what they called. No, they did not call that.
Maybe they were calling for a intentional grounding there. But what I was going to say is, you got the defensive player in the year in the CAA is Ronnie Cameron. You got the defensive player in the Southern Conference is that man right there, Brett Russell, number 66.
Both crowds now getting into it, getting vocal. First down on the outside to Reed Evans.
Move the chains. Don't give the ball back with 1:40. That was an important third down for ODU right there. They're a touchdown down. They don't want to give that ball back. They want to keep the ball and control the tempo themselves.
Montana from Missoula leads Central Arkansas in the first quarter.
They can throw the ball around there. That Central Arkansas group, I saw them last week. There he goes.
Minute and a half to play. Heineke just throws it out of bounds. Covered well by Georgia Southern.
This quarterback, Taylor Heineke, I believe is totally, he's got eyes in the back of his head, or has this clock in his head. He feels pressure coming. He sees receivers covered, and he gets rid of the ball instead of taking a hit and a sack. Very talented.
Second down and 10. Paulson Stadium as loud as it's been all day. Heineke. Another first down to Reed Evans. Heineke's numbers, 22 touchdown passes, only 1 interception. Took over the job the 6th game of the season. That's mind-boggling numbers for any quarterback on any level. The blitz came hard, and he throws it out of bounds.
Georgia Southern changing their front, changing what they're doing on defense right now. Shot a linebacker through the B gap on that play. Untouched by the ODU offensive line, getting quick pressure so that Heineke had to unload. It's a dangerous throw, but he's smart enough to throw it out of bounds.
Second down and 10 for Taylor Heineke from
pressure.
Atlanta, Georgia, underneath. Again, the catch by Nick Mayers. Goes down quickly.
Shows you the talent that they have on this defensive front, this particular player, Brent Russell. This is an all-out blitz, folks. They're coming. But look who drops back and makes the play on the tunnel screen. That is Brent Russell, number 66, Defensive Player of the Year in the Southern Conference.
Yeah, we saw that watching tape, Coach. His motor
never stops, does it?
Never stops, and he makes a lot of plays like that where he'll drop off. Instead of rushing the passer, he'll read the play and then drop off.
That's a called play to have him hit and occupy an offensive lineman while the others are pressuring and rushing. And if they throw a tunnel screen, which is a great call against that, he's going to make an open field tackle, which he did on a wide receiver. That's good stuff.
Yeah, that is good. And he's getting revved up, wants the crowd to get louder.
Now, he was a wrestler in high school, is that correct?
He was. And we see a lot of that as we watch tape. It's hand-to-hand combat with him.
Yes. You think he was pretty much fun to watch wrestle? I wouldn't want to get in the ring with that guy.
Yeah, you can't put your hands on him. He will not allow it. It's like a boxer.
And he's relentless.
And he's still getting the crowd fired up. Here comes the blitz. And going down, busting through is Josh Rowe. Ball comes loose.
There's a beanbag out right now. They're calling it a fumble.
Russell has the football. The officials huddled up.
10 offsides. Our defense, offside.
So they called Josh Rowe for jumping the gun.
I thought that would be the call here, but the flag didn't seem to come out that fast. But
that was close.
Clearly Josh Rowe was across the line of scrimmage. You can't time it up that good.
That's coming from a guy who played linebacker. So you don't believe you can do that, huh?
Not that well. It's nice to be in that A gap, though. That's closest to the center, watching that ball and take off, and they're trying again.
Third down. 30 seconds to play before halftime. First down and more. It's a foot race. And it's a touchdown.
That's the danger of the pressure.
Antonio Vaughn.
So you beat the first tackler, everybody else has disappeared. If it's a zero blitz, there's no safety in the middle of the field to make the touchdown-saving tackle.
Heineke finds Vaughn. And it was off to the races. And he is a strong receiver, hard to bring down. Extra point, ties it up. 28 apiece here in a Rock'em Sock'em offensive explosion. First half in Statesboro.
26 seconds to go.
What an offensive half we have had. And Coach, you're a defensive guy.
You got to love this. Once again, the two contrasting offenses. There is nobody in the middle of the field. So when he beats the first tackler, he's off. He's gone. The offside corner could not come off his coverage and make a play. That is being LeBron Scott. He could not get over there. He was all the way on the other side of the field. That's how much speed he has to get there and try to get the ball out.
You know, we watched tape yesterday of Georgia Southern's game against Elon College, and they run a wide-open offense here in the Southern Conference. And we were commenting that the two safeties were so deep, almost like cover two. Didn't see it there.
No.
They sucked them in.
They had the pressure, so the safeties were assigned receivers to cover. So that's what they call a zero coverage, where there is no safety back in the middle of the field or in a two-deep look. So they are all up in coverage, covering the receivers as the linebackers pressure.
Hate to see that coverage with less than 30 seconds to go.
You got to, as a defender, take away the inside first. You've got to force the ball to the outside. The harder, longer throw. You can't give him the inside break.
And Bobby Wilder, all smiles.
It's kind of what we imagined this would be, a shootout with the two styles of offenses and philosophies.
Again, the short pooch kick, and Georgia Southern will have good field position. Up close to the 40-yard line with 19 seconds remaining. If you just joined us here on ESPN3, you see the score. It has been a wild one. Georgia Southern, the number 3 seed, had a 14-7 lead after the first quarter. Old Dominion, not to be denied, their true freshman quarterback Taylor Heinicke has thrown for now 3 touchdown passes through the air. And look at Georgia Southern on the ground, racking up huge numbers. Again, Swope up the middle. That'll be the last play of the half. There'll be a timeout called. Old Dominion uses one of their timeouts. So the Monarchs come to the sidelines. There's Bobby Wilder.
I guess this is a timeout call to say, hey, listen, let's get out of the half. We've got 13 seconds left. I can't understand exactly what else he would want to do in a timeout situation now.
They're the brackets, coach. Stony Brook, Sam Houston State, New Hampshire, Montana State. That's the other side of the bracket. Wofford, again, a Southern Conference opponent of Georgia Southern. And last year, in fact, I remember calling the game. Georgia Southern went to Wofford and won that game. And here's our side of the bracket. The winner of this game will play the winner of Maine and Appalachian State. Site yet to be determined. We do know if Georgia Southern wins, they would host next week in the quarterfinals. If Old Dominion wins, we don't know.
Right now, we don't know who's going to win this ball game. It's just been exciting to be part of.
And now Old Dominion burns another timeout. I don't think they can get the ball back with 8 seconds remaining and only 1 timeout left. Perhaps they're hoping if Georgia Southern puts it on the ground.
That, or possibly they might want to get a punt block. They want to see Georgia Southern punt the ball today.
Montana leads Central Arkansas 10-0 first quarter. Did a game at Montana a couple of seasons ago. Snow was coming down. It's about 10 degrees. Hardy folks up there in Missoula.
You really can't stop it here after this play. This will be their 3rd timeout.
Yeah, no timeouts remaining.
That'll be it. But that's what he's probably trying to do. He'd like to see them punt the football one time. He'd like to take an opportunity to try to go after. They've got 10 block kicks this year. Their special teams at ODU have been terrific.
So Georgia Southern likely to go down on one knee. 56 total points. And a whole bunch of yardage for both offenses. Very entertaining first half. Shaw will give it a rock. Why not? And that is pass interference. Yes, indeed.
And that is another thing that I'm sure Coach Wilder said. Don't give them a big play. Now, in the NFL, you know where that ball would be spotted, right? Right there. Not so in the college rule book.
Jabo Shaw took a good hit as he released that pass, and he got up rather gingerly. This will be a 15-yard penalty. Watch the hit on the release. Pretty good pop by Ronnie Cameron. Again, only 2 seconds on the clock.
Gives him a shot to throw it downfield.
Again, this is against the wind. Yeah, you couldn't even try a long field goal. This would be close to 59 yards. So they'll give it one more shot. ODU using their timeouts have given Georgia Southern at least an opportunity here just before the half.
They're going to roll into the boundary here and either throw it downfield or back across the field. Just play deep.
Jabo Shaw goes incomplete, and that's the end of the first half. Again, Shaw took a shot just as he released that. Chad King delivered a blow to the midsection. Gets up slowly. Jeff Monken, Georgia Southern's head coach, making sure Shaw is okay. We've seen all sorts of offense. Great plays on both sides. Where's the D? It's halftime, tied at 28. Rent-A-Car. Beautiful Saturday afternoon in Statesboro, Georgia, and these fans have come in full force. Old Dominion brought thousands of fans from their campus in Norfolk, Virginia. And somehow, some way, Coach, a defense is going to have to come up with a stop.
They're in that locker room. They're trying to figure it out, but both these offenses are so potent. Their offensive lines are good. The execution has been great. The quarterbacks are making plays. And Jabo Shaw has thrown the ball extremely well, 5 for 8. Heineke has been, he's got 184 yards, close to 200 yards at halftime. 3 touchdowns, threw for 5 last week. He's got 3 in the first half here. Very interesting bunch of statistics here. I mean, besides the quarterbacks both wearing number 14, the only difference is the time of possession. Georgia Southern's had the ball for 18:33, and I said in the open, that's what they need to do. Their keys to the game is to keep ODU possessions at a minimum. Hold the ball.
There's Jeff Monken, the 44-year-old head coach, Georgia Southern in his second season. Had been here for many years with Paul Johnson. Excited, really got the folks excited about Georgia Southern football again last year when they went to the 3rd round of the playoffs. Had about a 5 or 6 year lull. And now they're out in full force today on a gorgeous Saturday looking to advance. And they really believe they have the kind of team that can win maybe the 7th national title here at the school, but they got to get by a very talented bunch from Norfolk, Virginia.
They went to the quarterfinals last year, lost at Delaware. I mean, this Jeff Monken, he's been around the block a couple times. He knows what to do, especially with this offense and the discipline of this program. He's followed Paul Johnson around. He was with him in Hawaii, and of course, he was with him here at Georgia Southern from 1997 to 2001. Johnson goes to Navy. He goes to Navy. Johnson goes to Georgia Tech. He goes to Georgia Tech with him. He's been tutored by one of the very, very best. And their personalities appear, at least from the outside, to be very similar. Very, very calm, very disciplined, very respectful and prideful in their football programs and how they operate the program and what their kids do. They try to set examples, be role models for their kids.
Enjoyed talking to Coach Monken last night at the football complex. We were watching tape late in the afternoon, and he just casually strolled in, asked if everything was okay.
Well, he's out with a bunch of his players doing a charitable function in the mid-morning to the mid-afternoon. He doesn't want that publicized, but he does that stuff with his players. That's important.
LaRon Scott, the dangerous return man, runs right into the defender for Old Dominion, Edmund McClam, who brought him down. Again, Scott has had a tremendous year, averaging just over 33 yards a return. That was a 19-yard return for Scott, well below his average. And here comes Georgia Southern. Jabo Shaw 5 for 8 for 91 yards. Through the air. This pistol formation. And the pitch. Again. Huge gaping hole. Dominique Swope could go all the way. Cuts it back, and he will go all the way.
How's that for a start of the second half?
Wow, what a run for Dominique Swope. 76 yards.
A different type formation, a little bit of a gimmicky formation, motion back in to create what amounted to wishbone. Pitches the ball on the perimeter. Paul Morant, the safety, comes down. He does not force the ball back. He lets it get outside, and it's off. I mean, Swope can run. He not only is a big, strong back, but he is fast. Impressive.
And the extra point is good. You know, Swope had that towel wrapped around his belt if that was flag football, you would have grabbed that. And nobody even came close to grabbing the towel. He was untouched. He has 16 carries, 160 yards today, and 2 touchdowns.
I think that all started with formation and ODU struggling to get lined up and find their responsibilities.
Now look at the running numbers. Robert Brown has been a huge factor. Darian Robinson, 10-yard average. Old Dominion has not figured out this option attack.
Once again, when you get out there in the perimeter, the defenders need to feather that quarterback. In other words, try to hold him off, and then get out to the pitch man while the defender coming down out of the secondary, Morant, number 20, he's going to force the pitch back inside. Didn't happen.
Big number 57, Brent Moore, the tackle, was out there leading the way for Swope and almost got in his way. Big 57 had to kind of curve to the right as Swope went into the end zone. And so first play from scrimmage, and it's 35-28. It's about what we
once again, going back to, Doug, the game 8, they lost App State, and then they had a narrow win over the Citadel. They made a change. The coaching staff made a change. They inserted William Maxwell, moved him from right guard to center, and went with freshman running back Dominic Swope. And he has really returned the rewards. 165 yards against Wofford, and then 153 against Alabama.
Colby Goodwin returns the kick of Billy Greer out to the 25. A nice stop there on special teams by Edwin Jackson. Redshirt freshman out of Atlanta. There he is. Getting some low fives. Tap on the helmet, telling everybody who'll listen what a tackle that was. Taylor Heineke, 11 for 19, 184 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Again for the season, 23 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Right up the middle. Goodwin on the carry.
And as we speak, I see this defense of ODU over there on the sideline. They are in a big huddle trying to determine, hey, what are we going to do? We can't start the second half like this.
Again, 3 down linemen, that 34 look. Heineke has all day and has to just throw it out of bounds.
Another smart play. He held that ball for a long time back there. Great job by the coverage end of this Georgia Southern defense. The Eagle defense has played pretty doggone well, but not good enough. 3 touchdowns in the red zone. And one big one at the end of the half.
3rd down and 6. ODU's been very good on 3rd down. And there's another first down. Is that? No, that comes out. Prentice Gill had it and then dropped it. Kind of bobbled it. Again, LaRon Scott on the coverage.
A great finish by him, Doug. That's double slant. Reed Evans, he wanted that ball. But they went in the double slant here, and he was able to finish the play on Prentice Gill. LaRon Scott was.
DeMarco. Again, the 4th down try. They're going to throw a flag. Pass interference.
Notice a lot of these fakes are going over to the ODU bench so the coaches can try to help make the calls.
I didn't see that. It didn't appear that the ball was catchable.
No, it was not.
It was severely underthrown.
Pass interference, 10 on the defense, 15-yard penalty, previous spot, automatic first down.
Josh Rowe, the outstanding linebacker from Opelika, Alabama.
He's running away, throwing back across the field. The ball's woefully short, but the referee's going to make a judgment call that the receiver could have come back and caught it. I got to go with the ref on that one. But it's very, very short on the throw.
So DeMarco stays in there now at quarterback, and Heineke is out here flanked to the left in the slot. And DeMarco will keep it. Moves it forward for a gain of 2. And they're going to keep him in there at quarterback. And again, Heineke lined out to the left of DeMarco. DeMarco was their all-conference quarterback to start the season. Suffered that ankle injury. 5th week. Has a man. Off the fingertips of Larry Pinkard. And another flag comes flying in. Hudson Presame on the coverage, and he's complaining a bit on that call.
Right at the very end, Hudson Presame tugs on the left shoulder as he tries to go for the catch. Larry Pinkard, the biggest of the receivers that they have. He's a 6-footer. Most of these are 5'10", 5'11", 5'8". DeMarco with the fake, throwing deep. It shows you what kind of confidence they have and how they're trying to change things up, throw Georgia Southern a little curveball, keep them off balance.
So that's 2 pass interference penalties. That's 30 yards of penalties, and it's 1st and 10 ODU. Ball's on the 38 of Georgia Southern, and Heineke back in at quarterback, or at least has moved back over. Never left the field. And that is out of bounds. Presame on the coverage.
The crowd is getting excited here at Paulson Stadium.
Again, our officiating crew is from the Ohio Valley Conference. Wally Wrighton is the referee. He's been at it a long time. There's Wally. Second down and 10. Taylor Heineke. It's another first down. Reed Evans. The ball did not appear to have a lot of zip on it, but he was very accurate.
Evans, very dependable receiver. 46 catches coming into this game. Great stretches out with his body to catch it in his hands. This is a great response here by ODU. They need to capitalize on this.
Solid game by Colby Goodwin.
So Jeremy Hensley finishing blocks 12, 15 yards downfield. Get this Georgia Southern defense on their heels a little bit after those penalties. They've got to regroup, just keep it together.
Breaking free. Another first down. Monarchs down to the 5-yard line. We marked it to 6. It's Goodwin again. Goodwin out of Hampton, Virginia. He's finding some big running lanes. That huge offensive line for Old Dominion doing a job. See, they were trying to rip that football free. Goodwin again on the carry.
You think these coaches over there on the sideline are into the ball game or what? I don't know what they're saying over there, but there's 2 or 3 different guys calling signals. Quarterback looking over the sideline.
Got the dummy signals and the legitimate signals. All sorts of hands are flying. Heineke into the corner of the end zone. It's caught. And a touchdown. Larry Pinkard.
The bigger receiver going up for the ball. Long, tall, long-armed. Getting the mismatch with the defender. What a response by ODU with, a couple calls. Throwing the ball right down the chimney, right in the corner of the end zone. That's just a jump ball. Great play. Good coverage, but better catch.
Jared Brown ties it up, 35 apiece. 2 pass interference penalties kept that drive going. And Heineke responds with another touchdown strike. Joe Theismann actually helped the coach off the stage along with Coach Vitale and Coach K 20 years ago. After he delivered that speech, Laurent Scott found a gap and then gets knocked down around the 24-yard line. I'll tell you, after that last touchdown, the extra point, Jeff Monken, the head coach at Georgia Southern, he huddled up with Wally Wrighton, the official, the referee, and he was really pleading his case. Did not agree with those pass interference penalties.
He wanted an explanation. And I've been there and done that. That doesn't usually get very far, but you want to make it known.
Monken has had a beef or two with the officiating crew today. Did not like that chop block call in the first half. Those are big penalties. Jabo Shaw now to the outside. Darian Robinson. That goes for no gain. Well defended. Finally for Old Dominion. They've had trouble with that pitch today. There's Chad King. Senior from Springfield, Virginia, has delivered some hard knocks today, especially on Shaw when he does deliver that pitch.
They've been playing a lot of 3-4. Chad King going into the boundary and being the fourth linebacker. And they've gone back to that odd front, they call it, the 30 front.
And Dominic Swope goes into the teeth of that defense. And again, as we watched tape yesterday, Coach, of the Alabama game, they ran the similar alignment at 3-4 as we're seeing against Old Dominion. Alabama couldn't stop it either.
Could not. It's so hard to prepare for. It's not just, you know, moving the chess pieces around. You got to practice the techniques that are important to stopping this style of offense. And it's hard to do. It's hard to mimic as a scout team, and it's hard for these players to be put in different positions to play the defense.
A big third down early in the third quarter now. Shaw keeps it himself, puts a shot up around the neck, and then rolls forward for a first down.
That was played about as well as it could be played with this counter option coming back into the boundary. And you'll see the defensive end try to feather this thing. There's a linebacker right there, cut block, and just makes the first down. Shaw, tough cookie to pick up that first.
Dominic Swope delivered a nice block that freed up Jabo Shaw. 1st and 10 from the 35. That time they defended it well, and Shaw falls forward for maybe a yard gain. That was J.J. Williams on the stop for Old Dominion.
You see this ODU defense playing a little more aggressively, getting a better feel right now after that opening play to start the second half, where they really had them discombobulated as to where they even lined up and what their responsibilities were.
Georgia Southern has not punted today. They may not punt in this drive either. Look at that. Dominic Swope gets another first down. Depends on the mark, but it looks like he got past the 45-yard line. And they actually mark it just shy. Interesting mark. 3rd down and maybe a half a yard. And now Swope is closing in on a career high in yards gained, has 163. There's the ball's on the ground. And Swope got it, moved forward for the first down.
That's an interesting way to pick up a first down. Because that would have been a 4th and 2. Swope scoops it and picks up the first. Not only is a true freshman, he's pretty alert, true freshman.
Now 18 carries, 172 for Dominic Swope. And that is a new career high for the freshman. Previously had 165 against Wofford, if I'm not mistaken. And he had 153 against Alabama. He's tacking on a few more.
Georgia Southern has lined up 3 straight downs with this tight formation. I just get a feeling they're going to go up top here in a second, explode downfield with another trick type play.
Coach Monken Very calm, cool, and collected. Doesn't get too emotional, although he was getting a little riled up at the officials there, but very even keel. Been there, done that. Shaw pitches to J.J. Wilcox up near the first down.
Another look here at another play. It's the counter trap option, pulling the off guard. He has the option again to pitch the ball. Picks up another first down. Good blocking on the perimeter. But the counter part of it, the quarterback starting one way, coming back the other way with the trapper from behind, allows for a different sort of play out of this triple option.
Swope again. Boy, when he takes the handoff, he is leaning forward. He has 2 yards before he even takes off.
And the offensive line's really coming off the ball. They're doing a terrific job up front, starting with the center that we talked about at the beginning, William Maxwell. Blocking on the nose tackle. And they're moving players in and out on that defensive line, trying to keep them fresh, trying to get some plays.
Willie Maxwell leans out over the football. And he is excellent. No hog left behind is the motto of this offensive line. And they opened another gaping hole for Swope.
You got to watch this offensive line come off the ball. I mean, this just turns into a veer, and look at them just drive people back. There's so much running room there.
Good look at Billy Maxwell. Quitman, Georgia. Middle of the season, took over that center spot. And I watched him against Alabama. And he was going against some guys that outweighed him by 55, 60 pounds, and he was rooting him out of there. Pitch back, flags down everywhere.
It's going to come back to procedure. Jeff Monken called William Maxwell one of the smartest players he's been around, and he called him the best offensive lineman in the Southern Conference.
J.J. Wilcox on the carry, and that chop block will bring it back.
Illegal shift on the offense. 2 men moving before the snap. 5-yard penalty, first down.
All right, so a motion penalty, not the chop block. It appeared that one motion from the referee was the chop, but they'll move it back 5. And Willie Maxwell, he is working hard. You saw him breathing heavy. No quitting that kid.
He's had 2 or 3 different nose tackles to block in there, too. And I'm telling you that Chris Burnett, number 90, is one of the best I've seen at that position. He's an anchor.
Shaw's first pass in the second half. First for another first down, Zach Walker.
Short throw turns into a big gain because the corner's playing off so far. This offense of Georgia Southern is now dictating to ODU.
Again, that was Eric Lewis on the outside for Old Dominion, battling that high ankle sprain. They have so many injuries on this defensive side for ODU. He's really sucking it up and playing today.
Yeah, they had to move their best wide receiver, Nick Myers, over to defense.
Yeah, he's at the left cornerback slot. Up the middle again. Running hard is Brown, Robert Brown back in there.
Myers will play close to 85 plays or so today.
And look at ODU try to rip that ball out.
You got to stop them one way or another. If you can't stop them on downs, you can't force them to punt. Try to get a fumble. Try to get the ball out.
I tell you, the Monarchs have not stopped Georgia Southern in any way. No punts for the Eagles. And this is a time-consuming march. Clock is ticking away now, 4.5 to play, third quarter.
Long drive.
And that'll stop the clock. A timeout for Georgia Southern. Jabo Shaw, whose brother Connor is the quarterback at South Carolina for Steve Spurrier, comes over to talk to Jeff Monken. And we get a breath. It's been back and forth. Welcome back to Statesboro, Georgia. We're all tied up 35, 4.5 to play third quarter. Doug Bell alongside John Bunting. 1st and 10 for the Eagles. Ranked number 3. And fighting for a yard is Dominic Swope, who has been the weapon on offense.
He's got some record numbers here, I believe.
Sure does. 190 yards now, Coach, on 22 carries.
Wow. True freshman. Last year he was playing high school ball. You know, star of some team someplace, you know. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Buford, Georgia, they like their football down there.
High school football a year ago, 85-yard touchdown against Alabama in Tuscaloosa. 190 today in the playoffs. And the pitch. Nico Hickey, touchdown, Georgia Southern. And the video game continues. Just one touchdown after another.
Just watch it. You got the perimeter blocked, but it gets turned back inside. The safety's too late. Number 27 coming down. And he is going to get down there sooner when he sees the block on the perimeter and make an inside-out tackle.
Oh, that's blocked.
That's historic.
That's the first miss of his career, Adrian Mora. He had made 153 consecutive extra points until that one is blocked, and that is big. He's shaking his head. He's never in his career experienced a miss. Big number 55, Eric Saylor, blocks it. That's Eric Saylor got his big hand up there to block Adrian Mora's extra point to stop his phenomenal streak, and now it's just a 6-point game. And this is not unusual. Last week against Norfolk State, they had 2 blocks. That was on a field goal. And then, of course, the last drive. And that was low trajectory from Adrian Mora. And big 55 Eric Saylor got his hand up there, and now it's a 6-point game.
Michael Ziskowski is the special teams coach for ODU, and they pride themselves in blocks and doing things with special teams. They had 10 coming in to the game.
Colby Goodwin cutting back. Finds a lane on the outside, and he's finally brought down around the 40-yard line, so an excellent return. And now ODU has an opportunity, if they score, to take their first lead of the game. Look at those special teams for ODU. 11th block kick this season, 5 of the field goals, 5 punts, and that was the first extra point they blocked. Bobby Wilder told us as we spoke to him this week, boy, they take pride in their special teams. Heineke has his man right on the out-of-bounds line. As Reed Evans, and moving the chains, the Monarchs. Again, a remarkable story. Only their 3rd season of football after a 69-year hiatus. And the folks in Norfolk, Virginia are eating it up.
Well, they sell out the stadium. It's a great facility.
Heineke looking deep, and Prentice Gill. Last drive, the 2 penalties. This was on the fake punt on 4th down. They called that on Josh Rowe. And then the deep pass, Presame, and that set up the touchdown. So 30 yards of penalties kept that last drive alive. Now 2nd down and 10. Angus Harper. Big number 66, Brent Russell. I guarantee he's in the bottom of that pile somewhere. There he is.
The last couple throws of that ODU drive last time out came against Presame, number 21, and I can see Prentice Gill over there jawing with him right now. There's some trash talking going on in this field. These kids are competing, and they're talking. They got to back it up.
Big third down, although we know ODU will go for it on fourth down. That's almost a given. Third down and a long 9. Heineke.
Lots of time. He should just run. Go pick it up.
And he's out of bounds.
Short.
About a yard short. Chased out of bounds by John Douglas. Good coverage, Coach.
Very good. Too much time. They ran a game inside with their defensive front. Didn't get there, and then he escaped to the outside.
4th and 1. Heineke. Ball's batted down. No flags. It's turned over on downs. That excites the home folks here in Statesboro.
Heineke would like to have this one back. It's the double slant again, and he goes to the inside receiver this time. And an end drops off in the coverage. I think that's John Douglas.
Jerick McKinnon, who's the backup quarterback playing on defense. A tremendous athlete, and they just try to get him on the field. Got his hand in there, Coach. That's a big play.
The distraction, though, was the defensive end that dropped into the coverage on that play. That fooled Heineke. I think he really prevented him from pulling the trigger.
And Swope breaks a tackle down to the 43-yard line.
Ronnie Cameron's down.
He's over 200 yards for the day. Dominique Swope. That's a 14-yard pickup. That's a determined runner. And that's their all-star Ronnie Cameron down on the field for ODU. The Defensive Player of the Year in the Colonial Athletic Association. What a day for Dominique Swope, 206 yards. He has power, Coach, and he's elusive.
He has great balance. You know, a 6-footer weighing 207, 210 pounds that runs like that. And we saw it against Alabama, and here he's doing it today in this second round of the FCF playoffs.
And again, one thing you notice, and we broke down a lot of tape from Georgia Southern this week, not only is the offensive line anchored by Willie Maxwell at center, very good at what they do, but the wide receivers, boy, they get out there and block. It's a hat on a hat.
Yeah, A-backs, the wide receivers, very disciplined group.
Career high, 23 carries, 206.
And they moved Blake DiBartola from left guard to left tackle because Bird couldn't play, and Zach Lonis, number 62, steps up at the left guard. Great effort by this offensive line.
And Swope continues to carry the load. He is putting up huge numbers. Look at that, 8.8 average today. Season average not bad, nearly 6 a clip.
This game, at this point right now, could get away from ODU if they don't get a stop here.
Shaw with the pitch. And another first down. Jonathan Bryant. And we have seen a lot of running backs run into this game. Swope obviously dominating the numbers, but we're seeing a lot of ball carriers for the Eagles.
Counter option into the boundary, the short side of the field. Watch the block on the perimeter. 19 right there, chop on the ground.
I tell you, somewhere Paul Johnson, the Georgia Tech coach, is watching this game, and he is loving every block. He's loving what Willie Maxwell's doing at center, and obviously Jabo Shaw pass wide open was J.J. Wilcox who delivered that last block, and Shaw just overshot him. Jeff Monken saw 6 points on that one if they could have hooked up.
This is what the triple option can do to secondaries. You get so involved with trying to stop the run. Oh, Coach Munchkin said, hey, Coach Monken, he is a ball coach now. I tell you what.
That's about as animated as he gets. You know he burns fiercely underneath. Second down. Another first down. Down to the 15 is Dominique Swope. That was a 17-yard pickup. Boy, this young man with a quarter to go could put up some record-setting numbers. Adrian Peterson, the great running back from Georgia Southern, not the one that plays for the Vikings, but the one that played here. He's watching this game somewhere. I remember doing that. Here's the scores from around the games. Maine leads App State at half. Montana way ahead of Central Arkansas. North Dakota State, James Madison, and Wofford, Northern Iowa a little bit later on. They'll be playing that Wofford, Northern Iowa game inside the dome, the Uni Dome. And that's the end of the third quarter. Here in Statesboro, Georgia, just 1 quarter to go. They've won 6 national championships. Maybe this is start of the fourth quarter. And Georgia Southern keeps it on the ground. No surprise there. They're just eating up the clock, eating up yardage.
Starting to wear them out a little bit here, Doug, particularly with the dive on that triple option, the first option of the triple.
Zeke Rozier, his first carry today. He goes to the sidelines, brings up second down and 8.
I see Ronnie Cameron back in the game at right defensive end, but I do not see the big Chris Burnett.
And the pitch on the ground. Jonathan Bryant got it back.
Right now, that's about the only thing that can stop this Georgia Southern offense is putting the ball on the ground. They are just taking it to ODU.
And again, you saw Jabo Shaw and Coach Monken is talking to Jonathan Bryant. He needed to cut up field because that was really a pretty good pitch.
Absolutely. Got out of phase a little bit.
We're talking about a master running the option, Jabo Shaw. When he complains, you say, okay, I got it.
Good third down here.
And a timeout. Old Dominion calls timeout. That's their first timeout. And when you think Georgia Southern, you think 6 national championships. It started back in 1985. Irk Russell's first. Tracy Ham, who was their outstanding quarterback from Alachua, Florida, to Frankie Johnson. And then 1986, Georgia Southern beats Arkansas State. Again, Tracy Ham was the MVP of that game. 1989, Coach Russell's 15-0 team. Ernest Thompson over the top. Irk, the Eagle, retires after that one. Very next year, Alex Nash, the interception, seals the win over Nevada. Coach Stowers was running the show then, and then in 99, the run. Adrian Peterson, Jim Tressel, and the Penguins had no answer. He ran for 333 yards. They couldn't stop him. Coach Tressel said, we tried everything, just couldn't stop him. And then in 2000, Peterson again, the muddy track against Montana. Those were the 6 And the ball goes out of bounds. I don't think ODU got control of that ball. Yes, they say they did. Oh my. We're going to have to take a look at this one.
It's the only thing that could have stopped him.
Looked like the fumble was out of bounds. Now one more look. There's the pitch. Off Darian Robinson. Where is the ball?
Gets possession right there before his foot slides out of bounds. Good call.
Craig Wilkins, first team All-Colonial Athletic Association, skidded out of bounds.
What a break.
That is huge.
For ODU.
That would have sealed the deal, I do believe, a touchdown there.
I think so.
So new life, even though they're on the 2-yard line. And they hand off to Colby Goodwin. Georgia Southern trying to strip that ball from Goodwin, trying to get it right back. Still a lot of time.
This ODU offense has been over the sideline quite a bit during this third quarter. It's time for them to mount a drive here themselves. Even if it's deep in your own territory, you got to find a way to get out.
2nd down and 8. Heineke flushed out of the pocket. Has his man, Prentice Gill.
Pressure up the middle. Terrific job by Heineke. Poised to get outside and make a really good throw to Gill. Senior receiver.
3rd down and 1. But it's a long one, almost 2 yards. Heineke has his man. There's the 1st down. Prentice Gill again.
Hard to cover that combination route of a flat, a corner route, and a snag route inside. You can't match up to it on short yardage.
Heineke, the Atlanta freshman, true freshman, took over for Thomas DeMarco, 6th game. Put up huge numbers, trying to add more now. Has his man, what a grab, Reed Evans. No, they're saying it's incomplete.
Coach Munkin's over there saying, I finally got a break here.
And Evans is down.
I'm sure he got the wind knocked out of him stretching out for this ball. Wow.
Well, that was close.
That's a pretty good catch.
It did hit the ground. You saw it just touch the ground, then he rolled up with the ball. Bobby Wilder, head coach for Old Dominion, trying to get the explanation. Again, ODU, they were picked to finish last in the Colonial preseason picks. Did not get 1 vote. Last. And they're now battling with Georgia Southern's 2nd round of the playoffs, FCS championship. Pretty amazing stuff. In only their 3rd season of resuming the program. Heineke completes another one to Larry Pinkard. Here's how it shakes out for those who love the playoff format. The winner of our game will advance to the quarterfinals. If it's Georgia Southern, they will host the winner of Maine, Appalachian State. If ODU rallies, we're not sure. Maine leads App State, by the way, at a halftime. And there's the bottom half of the bracket. Another 3rd and short. Heineke. He's in trouble. Has his guy, 1st down.
Finds a way. He just finds a way to make things, keep things alive, and find a receiver. He's got an awful lot of poise for a true freshman quarterback.
Look at the blocking, though.
Out of Atlanta, Georgia. 3 times the Colonial Athletic Association freshman quarterback of the week.
Boy, that's making it look awfully easy. Nick Mayers, who's gone both ways today and has played special teams with another grab. He's another first-team all-conference performer, Nick Mayers. There's LaRon Scott, the outstanding cornerback for Georgia Southern.
He's always matched up on the #1 receiver of the opponent.
2nd down and 4, 10:40 and counting in the football game. Again, wide open is Nick Mayers. Again, Mayers is a kid who played both ways in high school. And when the coach, Bobby Wilder, called him in the office last Sunday and said, listen, we have some injuries. Would you mind playing defensive back? He said, are you kidding? Did it in high school, not a problem.
Virginia Beach, Virginia. Lansdowne High School, home of Percy Harvin. I remember going to that school to recruit that young man. He said, I'm going to Florida.
And they talk about Tim Tebow, but boy, was Harvin a weapon on that Florida team that won the national title or what? Uh-oh, that ball's on the ground. It's picked up by Georgia Southern. Lavelle Westbrooks down to the 30-yard line. Huge turnover for ODU.
This is a great play, not only to get the ball out, but then to hold on to Mayers as he's trying to stretch out. You can do that. This is legal. The ball comes out there, and then he's held on to so he cannot pick the ball, get the ball back up and recover it.
One more look.
He knows the ball's out there, and he's trying to get to it, but he gets tackled and pulled away from the ball.
Josh Rowe stripped that ball away. Lavelle Westbrooks recovered the ball, and now they're checking out that left knee. Took a shot on that knee.
Now Josh Rowe is coming from the middle linebacker position to get in on, participate in that tackle and strip the ball. That shows you what team speed they have and what discipline they have to finish plays. Just when ODU starts to mount the drive to get back in this game, Mayer's one of their best players playing all day today, has it stripped away by the middle linebacker.
Boy, that's a good sign. He hopped right up. Let's see if he walks off. Yeah, he's going to walk off on his own. Another Georgia native playing for this Georgia Southern football team. This beautiful campus, now more than 20,000 students enrollment in Statesboro, Georgia. We toured the campus yesterday, Coach Bunting, and it is impressive. That rec center for the students is just tremendous. And there were thousands of kids in there yesterday doing all sorts of stuff. Basketball, swimming, weightlifting.
And I want to say thank you to all the people that were so accommodating out there to us over at the football office. Rose Carter. Media relations, she did a terrific job pointing us in the right directions.
Jabo Shaw back at quarterback. Giving it to Darian Robinson. And they want to score, but they want to eat up clock as much as possible. Dominic Swope right now 226 yards on the ground. There's the freshman, the B-back. That's his career high. And again, when you're talking about the best ever, we showed that clip moments ago. Adrian Peterson. They retired his number, 333 yards in that championship game against Youngstown State. And 5 touchdowns, no less. There's a completed pass. Nico Hickey. Old Dominion says they have it. No, it is a catch by Nico Hickey, the senior from Columbus, Georgia.
That dual possession goes to the offense.
inside the 5-yard line. 1st and goal. Shaw keeps it himself. Takes a pop. It's down to the 1. That was helmet to helmet. Tough kid.
He is a tough quarterback.
I saw him take some shots against Alabama. I mean, they made no bones about it. They were going to take him out, and he just kept getting up.
Listen to this hit here.
Jabo Shaw on the carry.
That's rough and tumble football, folks. Love it. Throwback.
Shaw keeps it himself. No signal as of yet. He did. He plunged into the end zone. Touchdown, Georgia Southern. Jabo Shaw. They're going to go for 2. Butch Monken said, get back out there. We need 2. Again, to make it a 14-point cushion. Still 8 minutes and 15 seconds remaining.
Got my old trusty 2-point conversion chart out there, and sure it does. Up by 12, go for 2.
Did you have that chart on the sidelines, Coach?
Always had it. Yeah, I was talking with Gary Tranquil, my old offensive coordinator. He would be reminding me, Coach, I'm out there in front of you, man.
And they whistle that dead before the snap.
So make this 2-point conversion a little harder.
Timeout.
Oh, they got the timeout in. Good.
Got the timeout. You know, the more you see Jeff on the sidelines, the more you see that competitive fire that really comes out. Mild-mannered guy when you talk to him in the coach's office. But, man, he wants this one badly. Wants the timeout, too, and he gets it. We'll be back. 100%. Give us a call, 1-800-4-JIMMY-V to donate. Jimmy V Week on all our platforms on ESPN. And now Georgia Southern will attempt their first 2-point conversion of the season. Adrian Moore, their kicker, had not missed an extra point in his entire career. He's a senior. The last one was blocked. Thus the 2-point attempt. You saw Freedom, who's ready to fly high if this goes in. He'll feel pretty good about it with a 14-point lead. Shaw gives off to who else? Dominique Swope. Back to a 14-point lead.
What a game this guy's having. Wow. Watch the offensive line come off the ball. You want to run some triple option, folks. That's how it starts right there with the B back. And look at William Maxwell knocking the nose tackle sideways, cutting him off. Outstanding.
Yeah, if you see Willie Maxwell again, number 51, that was just textbook. Wow, did he seal off the nose man or what? That was.
Well, he gets off the ball so quick. He's got speed, quickness, and then strength to finish the play.
So Swope now with 226 on 25 carries, 2 touchdowns, and now the conversion attempt.
I guess that's why he was freshman of the year in the Southern Conference, huh? They really didn't start playing him full time until the 7th or 8th game. Yeah, they had, as I said, they had the loss to App State, narrow win over the Citadel. That was the 9th game. And then they started playing him full time. Big change.
Eagles are excited now with 8:15 to go. If they can hang on, they will be at home next week in the quarterfinal.
ODU can score in a hurry.
Not over yet. That goes out of bounds. So excellent field position for the Monarchs.
Which Monken not real fired up about that kick.
Billy Greer hooked that one out of bounds. Just like in golf, you got to pay the price when you do that.
That's OB.
Bring it out to the 40.
And you don't get a provisional.
No. So here come the Monarchs. They've been unable to stop Georgia Southern, who has not punted today.
Just think about that. You know, you don't punt the football for 3.5 quarters.
Georgia Southern with 25 first downs. Old Dominion 22. Heineke. Douglas had him, and then somehow he wiggled out of trouble, and he's still running around. Boy, Russell, he loses the football. Was he down?
He's
yes. Down. Line judge says he was down, and boy, he took a shot.
Shades of Roger Staubach out there.
Brent Russell delivered a lick.
I mean, he's down 3 times. People got hands on him. He's clearly down on the ground. Good call.
2nd down and 5. John Douglas had him by the jersey, and he broke free. Heineke has his man again. Prentice Gill, another first down for the Monarchs.
Running the deep slant. Good fake it outside, then comes back inside.
Pass complete to Prentice Gill.
I mean, I got to give Georgia Southern a lot of credit. They are out there trying to play hard inside man-to-man coverage, and Prentice Gill just got him lined up and broke inside. It's a rhythm throw by the quarterback.
We'll check the flag. Again, our officiating crew from the Mo Valley. Wally Wrighton is our referee. And they're really talking it over.
There's no foul on the play. Please reset the clock. 7:25. 7:25.
So Wally's taking 5 seconds off the clock from 7:30 to 7:25. And there was no penalty. Jeff Munchkin, 44 years old. 2nd season as head coach. Let's see if Wally readjusts that clock. Brent Russell's number 66, their All-American, is getting the crowd fired up.
Stirring it up, isn't he?
Look at him bounce around out there. Yeah, he was wrong. So it's back to 7:30. He took 5 seconds off, and I think they told him no. It's got to go back to 7.5. And so here we go. Clock starting. Goodwin on the outside, weaving in and out of traffic, and it goes for a first down. Picks up 12. Here's some scores now for the 2nd round. Elsewhere, Maine is clobbering App State. That's a shocker. At least the score that, anyway, a 2-touchdown deficit for App State. Montana at home, not a surprise there. Stony Brook leads Sam Houston State. New Hampshire in the lead. Double reverse, looks like a double reverse pass. And Antonio Vaughn. It's brought down by Roderick Tinsley. First time we've called Tinsley's name in a while, and he's a big, good-looking senior, 6'3", 285.
He had Pinkert in the corner of the end zone open. He just couldn't pull the trigger, couldn't get the ball back because Tinsley was going to hit him. He had to pull it down.
Heineke changing the play. Boy, nice cut. Touchdown, ODU, Prentice Gill. Well. A lot of time left, 6:21.
Just a quick hitch out here, but he's going to make the defender miss. You've got to force him out into the boundary. That's the 12th man that you use on the football field. That sideline, and he failed to do that. Lets him back inside. It's too quick of a throw. And
it was blocked, the extra point.
They've got a block of their own.
Josh Gebhardt, number 90, got his hand in there. And the ball almost got over, but then hit the crossbar. Here it is, one more look. The block. And it tried to stretch. No. Not over yet. 49-41. Georgia Southern leads Old Dominion. Doug Bell alongside the coach, John Bunting. We thought it would be this kind of game, didn't we?
We did. We thought there was that distinct possibility. I mean, Georgia Southern has not punted the football. Now, what do you do now if you're Bobby Wilder over there? I just scored. There's 6:20 to go. The other team hasn't punted the football yet.
Onside kick.
It's got to be onside
Yeah,
kick.
I agree. And Georgia Southern thinks so. They got the...
I've never seen it with 6 minutes to go. Maybe a surprise.
Jaybo Shaw's in there.
Got him out there on the hands team. The good hands people right here.
All receivers. I see one lineman, Robbie Duncan. And he was out early catching passes, goofing around. So he obviously has some good hands.
They got it set up so they could go either way. Kick to the kicker's left or to the far side.
Here it is.
And it's the middle.
I'm not sure it went 10 yards.
Offsides, too.
So there's a flag down, and that ball did not travel 10 yards.
It was close, Doug, but it was not 10. You're absolutely on it.
And they're saying Georgia Southern has the ball anyway, so they'll decline the penalty and take the ball there. That was close, huh?
That was, once again, an interesting call. You know, they had it lined up to go left or right. Well, we'll kick it in the middle. We'll squib it in the middle.
First down, Georgia Southern. Now, again, it has to go to the 40-yard line, has to go 10 yards.
The kicker usually tries to cover this ball, which he does there. And he got out in front of it. They had some blockers out in front of him, but...
the end of the recovery, 1st and 10, Georgia Southern.
9.5 yards to travel.
It was well executed, except the kicker just needed to let it go a little longer, although they were offsides. That would have nullified it anyway. If ODU had recovered, they would have had to re-kick. As it is, they get the 5 yards on the penalty tacked on. So Georgia Southern's in business. And again, the man of the hour for Georgia Southern, Dominique Swope. 226 yards. Taylor Heineke has thrown for 308 and 5 touchdowns for the Monarchs.
He's played well.
23 of 37. 308 and 5 TDs through the air. Swope again. And who's leading the block there? Who else? Willie Maxwell. You think Dominique will take Willie out to dinner tonight? He should.
I said that yesterday when I met Dominique Swope. He's a good-looking young man, nice young man. And I was congratulating him when I said, you got to be taking these offensive linemen out, getting some steaks. I don't think he can quite afford that
right
yet, but maybe someday. He's a player.
Second down in the clock now. 6 down, 5:40 and counting. Still on his feet. Finally goes down.
I told him I liked his number 31. That was my favorite player growing up, Jim Taylor from Green Bay. I don't think he knew who that guy was.
I know who he is. Hey, heck, Coach, I have your football card.
Yeah, this guy runs hard. He's built like Jim Taylor. 6 foot, 210, 215 pounds. That's what Taylor was.
Georgia Southern alternates those wide receivers who bring in the play call. But again, Jabo Shaw has a lot of freedom there. 3rd down and 4. Shaw keeps it himself for a first down.
It's one of the first times we've seen this play called the quarterback follow, where he fakes the dive and then he follows the dive back up into the hole, who acts as a blocker. Right there, gives it to, fakes it to Swope, and Swope runs up there and blocks the linebacker. Quarterback follow. Haven't seen that today. They haven't had to go to it. They've had so many other weapons.
Look at the first downs, 26-25. Astounding numbers offensively for these two teams today. And again, Swope just bulls forward.
Just grinds. Look at all those cleats in the ground. Moving forward.
And this turf, by the way, is outstanding. Natural grass. Has that Bermuda, has a little ryegrass to keep it that green look. But they mow it tight and they press it down just like your putting green back home. I mean,
beautiful field.
It really is.
Beautiful field here at Paulson Stadium, where these Eagles are 30-3 in playoff competition.
Wow.
30 wins and only 3 losses.
And Swope again breaks tackles, another first down for Dominique Swope. Georgia Southern now has rushed for over 460 yards as a team.
They made that change a couple weeks ago, and it's paying big dividends.
Again, we've given a lot of credit to Willie Maxwell, deservedly so, but Zach Lonis, the left guard, Trevor McBurnett, the right guard. Pete Bartola is the big left tackle, and Brent Moore at right tackle. They all deserve credit as Swope takes it close to another touchdown.
They're just wearing the nose tackle and the 2 inside backers out right now. Burnett left this game some time ago. The starting nose tackle for ODU has not been back, and they have not been the same, particularly against that B-back. I mean, he made some yards in the first half, but they are just dominating right now.
The big guys up front are gassed.
Ronnie Cameron there on your screen. Defensive Player of the Year for ODU. He needs some help in there.
Swope loses the football, but I think he crossed the plane. No signal. They're going to wait to see who recovers it. It is a touchdown. Recovered by the Eagles in the end zone. Wow. Nico Hickey recovered the ball in the end zone. There's Nico jumping on it right there. Well, that was close to breaking the plane anyway.
Another alert play by Georgia Southern.
Nico Hickey.
Yeah, that's just a matter of discipline and this team finishing plays. The ball was on the ground at about the half-yard line.
And Mora misses the extra point. So after making 151 in a row in his career, he had one blocked and now misses it. What a day it's been. If you like offense, 55-41. The scoreboard, they're going to have to check the bulbs in the scoreboard.
They've been lighting up.
It is hot, that scoreboard. And Dominique Swope, look at those numbers, 255, Coach. And Heineke, 308 through the air and 5 touchdowns. Impressive stuff. Georgia Southern will advance. And right now, Maine is sticking it to Appalachian State. So it looks like it's going to be the Black Bears taking on the Eagles in the quarterfinals.
Another Colonial Athletic Association team.
Fair catch, call forth at 32.
I've seen Maine play. They're pretty good.
So let's see if Taylor Heinicke can add to his numbers, which I'm sure he will. And this young man, again, keep in mind, true freshman. He has 25 touchdowns on the season and one interception. Incredible.
It's just amazing.
I don't think I've ever heard of numbers like that before.
No, and he has a real knack for escape, making positive yards when people collapse the pocket.
That falls incomplete, looking for Antonio Vaughn.
Georgia Southern has done a good job in the back end for the most part. They've gotten picked on some. This ODU outfit is really good throwing the football, and they've scored some touchdowns and made some yards, but they've done a decent enough job to help their offense score a lot of points, get the ball back.
And that goes incomplete.
And Georgia Southern hasn't punted all day.
Here's some other scores now up to date. Again, Maine 27-6 at App State. That does not happen very often. Montana winning by a shutout at home. Stony Brook on top. New Hampshire. Lehigh Towson just in the second quarter. James Madison, North Dakota State just underway. Vaughn catches that one inbounds. And again, Coach, we need to give a little credit to Old Dominion. What a year they have had. I mean, what a phenomenal year in their third season of resurrecting this program. And here they are, Georgia Southern, second round of the playoffs.
First time playoff eligible, they go to the playoffs. That's amazing. Bobby Wilder is going to be very proud of his group, his coaching staff.
Boy, that was a terrific grab by Prentice Gill, who has impressed me today. He's only 5'11". He plays much bigger than that.
At the very top, at the very height of this ball, he comes down with it. Leaping catch in the hands, brings it to the ground.
Whether it's Riyad Jones or Hudson Presame, they have had trouble handling Prentice Gill. Looking for a sixth touchdown of the day to Nick Myers, goes incomplete.
There's LaRon Scott falling back off the smash route, the shorter route, as a two deep corner should, helping the two deep safety come over the top. That was a great play by him. He's a good football player.
Well, the folks at Georgia Southern have been through this before. They're moving on in the FCS playoffs. Heinicke takes off. And another first down.
There's no quit in them. Continuing to play.
Now the Jeremy Hensley, their best lineman, the center is a senior. He's gone. The left tackle Ryan Jensen will graduate. But Bourne, the sophomore left guard, 6'8", 340, is back, along with the right guard Robbie Duncan and Jack Lowney at right tackle. So 3 of the 5 starters are back next year.
There's a plan that Bobby Wilder has in mind for this group. They'll be in contention next year as well.
That goes incomplete.
There's a great rush by Tinsley. Met him yesterday over there at the football office. He looks like a ball player. 6'3", 284 pounds. Bobby Wilder had mentioned him in our conference call as being a guy that he feared rushing the passer.
Second down and 10. Reed Evans just wasn't ready for that one.
Get a little glare in the receiver's eyes as the sun sets here on in the west. They go towards the east end zone. You look back in that.
Third down and 10. Big crowd staying here.
They are all here.
Rooting the Eagles on.
They are fired up. They were when we started. They still are.
Heinicke, boys, a lot of real estate. He runs it in for a touchdown. 5 through the air and now 1 on the ground for Taylor Heinicke. What a day.
He's not bad, is he, huh?
What a day.
What a ball game. We talked about some offensive firepower.
39 seconds remaining.
I'm a defensive guy. They're wearing me out.
This will make it a 7-point game again.
Takes it down. He feels it. He's got a little giddy up in his step.
So the extra point is good, and we'll have another onside kick. The last one was close. So if they get this onside kick, I dare say they got time to tie this thing up.
Once again, the missed extra point is still meaningful. What a 7-point game here.
Bobby Wilder still revved up on the sidelines.
These are always scary as the head coach of the team that's on top. Believe me.
Boy, if you're Georgia Southern, wow, you got to get this one. Because Heinicke is dangerous. 39 seconds, plenty of time. And let's say they do recover the onside kick. They have 2 timeouts in 30 seconds.
For ODU, that's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time.
Once again, what we said earlier, I mean, these guys keep playing. They're in the game again.
Well, pretty incredible numbers when you consider Georgia Southern up to this point, 608 total yards, and Old Dominion 560 total yards.
That makes a guy like me almost start to cry. Defensive guy.
Oh,
come on, man. Jeez.
That's almost 1,200 total yards of offense today. And keep in mind now, Georgia Southern never punted.
Well, they have, I bet you, another plan. They went with the
squib?
The squib, the middle squib last time. Now they have to go to the high bounce.
There it is. Oh, I don't think it went 10, did it?
No, I didn't think it did.
I don't think there's any way that ball traveled 10 yards.
I didn't think it did. I haven't seen an official make a ruling as of yet.
He clearly recovered that ball airborne on about the 39. And that's what they're calling.
That was a pretty doggone kick.
The kicker short of the 10-yard line. First down, Georgia Southern.
That was close.
Really close. What a great kick. It was one. Oh, look at Bobby Wilder.
Blair Roberts jumped up and caught that ball. Now they're throwing the flag on Bobby Wilder, who's losing control a bit here.
No, his team's played too well. And you're not going to change anybody's mind now. So his get-back coach, he needs to get over there and he's done a great job this year. That was a very, very fine kick, but just not quite good enough. He is calling a timeout, Bobby Wilder is. It's clearly just before the 40-yard line. It was caught up about the 39 and 1 inch line. It's a very good call by the official. They're calling timeout, and I think he just wants to have some more conversation.
Now he wants to talk to the referee. he cannot talk to the line judge. Line judge does not have to walk to the other side of the field and give him any explanation. It's up to the referee, the white hat.
It's
39.5 seconds left to play. ODU now with 1 timeout remaining, and Bobby Wilder pleading his case, but you can't do anything about it now. It's over. There is no replay. There is no replay here in the second round.
Watch this again as this ball is the high bounce. It gets up very high, but this ball is touched at about the 39 and 1 inch line. It doesn't matter where he lands. It matters where he touches it.
So even if they had replay, that would have shown exactly what Coach was talking about. Let's see if ODU uses their last timeout or if they'll finally declare that it is over. Jabo Shaw now will go down on one knee. And that should do it. It's hard after the season ODU has had. It's hard for Coach Wilder to let go, but it is over. Georgia Southern.
What a pleasure to be part of this ball game.
Georgia Southern a winner 55-48. Jeff Monken will shake hands with Coach Wilder. And the Eagles will move on to round number 3, the quarterfinals. As we look at the brackets, Georgia Southern, the 3 seed, will host next Saturday against either Maine or Appalachian State. And right now Maine is up comfortably in that football game, so it looks like the Black Bears are coming here next Saturday.
Yep.
So for John Bunting and our entire ESPN3 crew, I'm Doug Bell saying so long from Statesboro, Georgia, where the final score is 55-48. To watch this entire game on replay as well as other games on ESPN, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. Freedom is soaring high today. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.